What's up guys, Sam Taggart here with D2D Experts. And in this video, most people's struggles are gonna be how to recruit salespeople. And I'm gonna give you a few tips out of this recruiting webinar that we did and just share with you guys some best practices from me and JP Arlie and how we've really helped companies go from 4 million to 40 million, 40 million to 100 million, from 60 reps to 300 reps in pest control, roofing, solar, alarms, satellite, windows, all sorts of different industries. And we have a recruiting summit coming up September 19th through the 21st in Miami. If you want to come for 3 days on an immersion and come learn how to recruit, go find the link below and come and celebrate and learn and have a good time, because this is our 5th annual recruiting summit. So we also have other recruiting resources such as coaching, recruiting university, all sorts of things. But in this video, what I'm going to show you guys is some really cool tips on your mindsets around recruiting and on some actual expectations on how to retain people and how you can change your perspectives and change the way that you recruit in those conversations internally and externally you're having, so you can have more recruits retain. So if you learn how to recruit and retain, make sure you watch all the way to the end, and we're gonna see you guys, so let's get started.
First thing is addiction. Anytime you learn something or you want to be great at something, you have to become just infatuated with it and addicted to it and spend all your time on it. Like, what do you do with your free time? So if I want to be great at recruiting, what are you doing with your free time? What are you addicted to? Who are you watching online? The trade-off is there's only so many things that you can be fully addicted to and infatuated with your free time, right? So you have to be wise. And so if you're on this call, you want to learn about recruiting. If you're coming to the summit, right, that's going to tell you, am I truly, really wanting to do this? We had somebody that paid us to send a consultant out to transition their business from marketing to marketing and door to door. So we help them hire and train their first salespeople, and then we send an expert out to go knock, and the owner didn't want to get out of their car. The owner stayed in their car the entire day. Well, I would question if that person is truly addicted to wanting to bring door to door to their business, because they didn't get out. They didn't do the work. So the first thing is you have to truly be committed to recruit, because if it's just like, I wish I could recruit more, I wish I had more bodies, I can throw money at Indeed, or I can bring some people in, that's not going to do it. So my first point, so that was point half, right? My first point is you got to care about people. Right, I have one rule in recruiting. The first rule is never ruin somebody's life, ever. You might have an opportunity. It might be great for you. You might be making great money, and you see a potential in somebody, and they're making 85 grand a year as a XYZ bank person, real estate, insurance, doesn't matter. They're providing for their family, whether it's a great living or not. They're providing for their family with that job. They're good at it. Yeah, they can't make much more money at it, but there's no learning curve. And then you come in and you're a great salesperson, and you tell them what they need to hear, and you hype them all up, and you're, Eric Thomas is like, how bad you want success? You want as much as and you're just going, I love Eric, by the way, I wasn't meaning to mock him, but you're going full recruiting, like hype with this person, and then that person goes home and convinces their wife, and you're not really thinking about their situation. And one of my other points is like, are you organized, and do you have an onboarding process? Because if all you are is talk, and once you onboard somebody and you have nothing to support them, no support systems or anything like that, you're just ruining their life. You're convincing them to leave a job that's provided for their family because you're a great salesperson, yet you have no structure or substance to support them. That's just a shitty thing to do, right? So you truly have to care about people, and you have to know their situation. When you're recruiting somebody, you have to ask them the questions like, hey, do you need 2 weeks to give notice? Or do you have a car, right? Because sometimes you don't even ask the simplest question. You're not thinking for them. You have to lead them down the road and think about all the pitfalls and all the challenges they're going to come on. Hey, it's 4th of July coming on. It's Memorial Day. Do you have plans? So caring about people, think for them, know their situation. You have to give them time. If you're running a team less than 7 or 8 people, you should be spending individual time, right? That is how I spell love as a sales manager, is TIME. And time for me was always the things that I wanted to do. So when I was before kids and before marriage, time for me was on a golf course. Time for me was dinner and a movie. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm an introvert. So I'm like, I'd eat dinner with somebody and say, hey, I'm going to go dinner and movie tonight. You're more than welcome to tag along. How I spend time now is people come to my house. When I was in LA, it was a pool party at the house. It was an ice cream social. I was always using my backyard. I have so many pictures of my sales reps teaching my kids to play poker, teaching my kids to play ping pong. They realize I don't have any skeletons in my closets. I don't yell at my wife. I don't yell at my kids. I treat people fairly. I bring people in and be my family. So that is how I spend time. So if you want to be a top-notch recruiter, you got to be addicted to the process and you got to care about people. Second point, right? First one was care about people. Second one is you got to be organized. And this is partly of thinking for them. How do you communicate? How and when are people training? What is their calendar? What is the cadence? And there's a saying that I learned, and I wish I knew who taught it, but I've stole it, is if you aren't managing your people, someone else or something else is. It's easy when it's 9 to 5 because you are managing them because they got to show up. But if they can go knock when they want and work when they want, then whatever they want to do with their free time takes over their work time.
Well, I think there's something to be said on that too, if I might add, is like a lot of people want to recruit to 1099 and being like, you can work whenever you want. There's so much freedom. And it's like, hold on, never say that. Like if you're setting them up to fail right there because you're trying to allure them into this freedom of time, when in reality you want to like manage their time for them, with them, it actually hurts them in 3 weeks when they're like, what are you doing? You're like, you said I have freedom. It's like, no wonder you're always broke. You know what I mean?
And so that's exactly what Sam's saying. The cadence is, when is your meeting? When's their first door knock? And if they want freedom, it needs to be published. Meaning, hey, I don't want you to ever miss a kid event. I don't ever want you to ever miss anything, but you got to put it in the calendar. I remember one of the skills I used to use with reps that were struggling with freedom is I took away a day of the week. I said, what's your favorite day to sell? And they go, oh, Thursday. Okay, well, you can no longer sell on Thursday. What do you mean? Just humor me. Let's go this month and you can't sell on Thursday. You can sell Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, but on Thursday you have to go do something else. And you'd be surprised on how many people sold more when you take time away from them. So the point is, the cadence is you have to manage their time by giving them freedom, meaning you have to knock 24 hours or whatever, 28 hours, 32 hours, whatever it is. Show me in the calendar when you're going to knock that on a weekly basis. So when I spend time with somebody, I go over their cadence. So hey, we know I need you at the Tuesday meeting. I know you're going to be on the Thursday phone call, but what is your cadence this week? And you have them show you, I got my daughter's got something on Friday, so I'm not knocking Friday, so I'm going to start 1 hour earlier every day this week to make up for the 5 I'm missing. Okay, great. You have to manage their cadence. And if you're not doing that, you're not organized, something else, their kids, their family, all good intended things are going to take away the time they need for the job. The last thing I have is culture. I am not a great culture creator personally because I don't like to stand on tables and rah-rah and be the lead voice. It's not in my DNA, but I know it's important to bring people into my organization that do those things. And if I don't have somebody, I have to create a different types of culture until I have people who can help create the rah-rah culture. So if the way I created culture is through caring. Meaning when I spend time with people, they know that I care about them. When I ask them about the hard questions, how are you doing financially? That's a hard question to ask as a leader because you don't always have the answer. But the fact that you don't ask it means you don't care. So I'm always asking, how's school? How's the significant other? How are you doing financially? How's the savings account? How's the emergency account? I'm asking all the hard questions because other leaders don't do that. What this does is the sales rep knows I care about them. So, you know what? Billy's got a shitty job and his manager doesn't care. Well, I'm going to let Billy come work for JP. A culture of that I am a good leader because I am organized, I care about them, and I have a culture of winning, which is the next thing. What does winning look like for a sales rep? And that's where that one-on-one time that I spend with them is like, okay, what does winning look like this week for you? Man, if I could get in 5 houses this week, that would be winning. Well, let's do this. Let's get in 5, and next week, this time we'll celebrate. I don't know how many times I said, next week, this time we'll celebrate. Next week, this time we'll celebrate. It's one of my go-to phrases. So what is the culture you're creating? I want to create a culture of caring. I want to create a culture of winning and making sure they know what winning looks like. And then I celebrate with them. Now, winning to you may suck, right? Let's pick a random widgets, right? You sell 10 widgets a week and this person is selling 2. You don't like to celebrate 2 because you're a high performer. When I say, hey, what does winning look like? Man, if I could sell 2 for my 4th week in a row, that would be great. And you're thinking to yourself, how does this person live on 2 widgets? Well, you don't know unless you're asking. I know, right? I want to know if they're living at home. If they're living at home, they have no rent. Or if they're making $40,000 a year living at home, they're fine. And after somebody says, oh, I want to win by selling 2 widgets 4 weeks in a row. Well, after the 4th week, I'm like, hey, let's talk about raising your game. Okay. What is a stretch for you and what's comfortable for you? Well, a stretch would be 3. Really? Okay. Well, then we go for 3. Anyway, I can go on and on and on about what the culture of caring, right? So I know step 1 was caring about people. It's how you do it. Think for them, understand their situation, Make sure you give them time. Step 2 was be organized. Make sure you have training. Make sure you have a calendar. Make sure they know the cadence. Make sure they're good at time management. And step 3 was creating a culture of leadership for them.
Again, hope you got some value out of this. This was so cool. We do webinars, recruiting summits, recruiting boot camps, recruiting university, recruiting consulting. We have a recruiting done for you program for select qualified businesses. So book a call with us, see what we've got on recruiting so we can help scale your business. Because it's one thing to be a good sales rep. It's another thing to be a great recruiter. Whether you're a manager, business owner, we have a recruiting playbook. We walk you through the systems. Go click the link and schedule a call. See how we can help you go scale your team.